What's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. And today we're going to take a quick peek over here at the markets, over here at the Bitcoin price chart. We'll look at some altcoins over here in the altcoin market. Yesterday, the Fed came out, they said nothing. A lot of buildup for that going on over there in the stock market for the Fed to essentially say a lot of nothing. They spent an hour talking, but in the end, we're not committal to anything. And so the market didn't really get much certainty from that. Meanwhile, the US dollar, or the DXY, which is a measure of the value of the dollar in comparison to a basket of currencies, has continued to rise as it's been rising nearly all year long, getting to a place that has historically been a very big resistance level. Either way, as we're getting towards the end of the week, looking over here at Bitcoin, we've been talking about the fractal. I posted about this over here on Twitter yesterday, stating how the bottom of this 2-month fractal played out last time. We could see what was going on in here. Bitcoin at 37,773. And well, here we go, right? Still just following along. I mean, which has been just remarkable. You don't usually see things follow this precise for this long. This is truly incredible that it has followed this thing so identically the whole way down. At some point, you would have to expect it will deviate. But until that time, looking at what the model has been over the course of the last 2.5 months, it indicates, hey, there's still some more time to just kind of play around in these mid 36 and 37s for a little while till it steps down into the 35s, stays there for a few days. And again, this is predicting time. I don't really like predicting time at all, but boy, that sure is pretty remarkable. So I would expect there's probably the capitulative move in the altcoin market that happens during this time as Bitcoin finds its bottom. And then it's the big event, right? We get all the answers coming out of there. What's going to happen with the altcoin market? What's the structure of a retracement going to look like? What we do see over here on the right side of the screen, I don't see anything popping up 20, 30, 40, 50% saying, hey, it's time to go. So this still seems very, very realistic to me that there is still this remaining over here in Bitcoin, which takes us through the remainder of January and into February. But one of the things about these types of moments, right? And so, there's a lot of different theories on what's going on with Bitcoin out there, right? People believe Bitcoin's going to recover. It's going to go off into a big, massive bull run. I'm one of those people who's like, hey, I think Bitcoin is in a bear market. The reality is this is a bear market fractal, right? This is not something that occurs in a bull run, this particular fractal. This is actually from 2018, and I'll show that specific time period in which that happened. That was right back in here. So this was during a bearish time period. Then it was really boring for a long time, and then eventually Bitcoin capitulated. But this is bear market stuff, right? This is not something you see happening over here in bull markets, right? So we can take that and put that over there. We don't see these types of things happening in bull markets. These are bearish structures with little double tops and then falls, double tops and falls. So my thought process is, hey, you know what? We've hit the 4.236 extension. We're doing bearish structures for Bitcoin. Hey, Bitcoin's in a bear market. What about the altcoin market, right? You see it out there over Twitter. Everybody's worried. Everybody's saying this time is different. They're not going to do anything. For me, the conditions just need to be met to say, hey, look, so first of all, I hear this time is different all the time. I can never rely on this time is different. I always have to go based on what this market has done in the past and say, that's how I've got to formulate my ideas. Otherwise, I am just guessing of this time is different. People say all the time, technical analysis doesn't work. That's because people choose to believe this time is different. And they'll formulate all of these biased analyses based off what they want to occur, not what has happened before. So I base a lot of my thoughts of what has happened before. Bitcoin's hit a 4.236 extension. It has not done a retracement yet, and what we've seen happen historically is into the retracement the altcoin market can run. But are there any circumstances in which this altcoin market, which has taken a beating, can go on to do some type of big run like this before? And I posted about this over there on the super follows on Twitter about Sia Coin, and I'm not sitting here to say go out and buy Sia Coin. I'm really not. I don't follow the project very closely. I don't think it has as much development action going on with it as it did back in 2016 and 2017, but I'd like to show you what it was like for Coin back in 2017. And the entire bull run was really remarkable and incredible, with Coin rising nearly 650,000% from 2016 to 2017. Now, that's something everybody dreams of, right? You throw $1,000 at Coin in 2016, and you walk away a champion at the end of it. And that was it, right? Life changing. Now, I'm not sitting here saying there's in any way going to be a repeat of those types of results for Coin right in here, but I wanted to show you what it was like in 2016 and 17 for Coin to say, was it an easy ride to get to that 650,000%? And the reality was it wasn't. There was actually 2 corrections in Coin that were of this exact same size that we have right now. They're not easy. They're incredibly painful. Will it go back up and set new all-time highs? We'll see. But I wanted to show you that in cryptocurrencies, we have massive rises, which you can even see for Coin right in here. How much of a rise is this? A 7,900% rise over the course of about a little bit over a year, and then a big 85-90% fall. Now, has that happened in Coin before during a bullish period for Coin? And we can see that yes, it absolutely has. That's how deep the first correction was for Coin back in 2016, taking it down deep this low. And then we look at the second correction that happened for Coin at the same time, still this exact same distance, all the while in this massive crazy run up of 650,000%. But along the way, there was 2 times where Coin had to lose 85%. So what ends up happening? 87%. What happens? Prices fire up, everybody gets excited, everybody jumps in. Then the swing down is so huge, terrifies people. Then it turns around and it heads back to the upside. And this is really just historically how cryptocurrency has been. It's the most volatile market in the world. Everybody wants the 1,000%. Everybody wants the 650,000%, but doesn't pay attention to the time periods where there was the big falls that eventually happened on the way up. And the big falls are never easy. They're not easy for me. They stink. But what we're experiencing so far that's happening in here is nothing unlike what we've seen happen before. And so for me, and my optimistic view is that, hey, yep, I do believe Bitcoin has topped. But I have seen before that these altcoins can do these types of pulls down and then go on and go much higher, right? And I know that at the end of 2017, early 2018 for Bitcoin, after it had fallen, once it went into its retrace, it was a time period where altcoins did fire up very heavy. So now, if we get into that time period, say Bitcoin gets back up to $55,000 and nothing has happened with altcoins, that's the time where I would probably say, oh, things are a little bit worrisome at this point. We've met a lot of conditions that we've seen before. We've seen a 4.236 extension get hit over there on Bitcoin. We've seen a retrace come in for Bitcoin. But in all circumstances that we've seen before, we should have been seeing the altcoins taking off right now. And for that, I would have to believe something different is going on and that this time is different. That would be a valid time period for me to say this time is different. But right now, I get asked a lot, hey, is this time different? And I have to say right now, no, it's not. If Bitcoin starts crumbling down to $15,000 from here, then yeah, this time is different. If Bitcoin recovers and goes up to 55,000 and nothing happens with the altcoin market, yep, this time is different. But is there something different and unusual about a price chart reaching out to the 4.236 extension and getting rejected from it? No, that's not different. That's normal. That's usual. Since I had the inception of this YouTube channel, these price areas were the targets that I always had for Bitcoin. Even when Bitcoin was $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, I had, hey, I think we're going to go to like 70,000. You wouldn't believe how many comments I got saying, who in their right mind would pay that much money for a Bitcoin? There's no way. There's zero chance. You're spreading hopium. That's irresponsible that you would even say that somebody would spend that much money on a Bitcoin or that people should be holding on to their Bitcoins during this time period. I mean, we're dealing with craziness. C19 is happening. We're having lockdowns going on. We've got people getting stimulus payments, people out of work. I'm on here saying, yeah, we're Bitcoin. It's gonna go to 70K. No, of course it's not, blockchain backer. This time is different. Don't you understand what's going on in the world right now? I mean, things are falling apart in the world right now, blockchain backer. There's zero chance we're getting up there. Then what happens? We get up here. Everybody says this time is different. 4-year cycles don't matter. We're going to go significantly higher, 100K, 200K, all that good stuff. And what did I do? I argued this time isn't different. We're at the price levels I always expected us to get to. We're going to fall back. So is that different? No, that's not different. What would be very different is if Bitcoin does not have a retrace. That would be very unusual and very different. But can I, at this point right now, say this time is different and it's not going to have a retrace? Of course not. At this time right now, can I say when that retrace happens, the altcoin market will not go euphoric and that this time is different, even though we know that it did do it in that one right there? No, I can't say this time is different. But what I can say that is the same is that the price chart rejected from levels that these things typically get rejected from. And that while, of course, I would love for all my altcoin bags to just be pumping to the moon at this exact point, I do know that even in bullish trends, in big, massive bull runs in altcoin markets, that these types of things do happen. And even when we look over here at the XRP price chart on the weekly time frame, we can see, there's wicks up in here, there's wicks down in here. But when we look back at the previous fractal of what happened for XRP during its last bull run, and we overlay it right here at the very bottom of where this one started at, right there, we can take note of where we're at right now and what range this thing has been bouncing around in here with these weekly candles in here compared to where it was bouncing around last time. So yeah, there's some wicks up and there's some wicks down, but where are we at and have we done that before off these lows? And I thought it was really interesting to see this and I wanted to show that to you. I'm not here to put on like hopium moon boy shoes on and be jumping around saying we're going to do 650,000%. I can't even realistically bet on that realistically, right? I'd have to be taking profits way before that could ever happen. If it ever did end up happening, I'd probably have like 0.02% remaining of my bag at that point. I would have taken profits so much along the way up there. So I'm not here to sit here and say we're having the expectations of that, but I wanted to show you that this also is not different. Bitcoin getting rejected from a 4.236 extension is not different. Seeing altcoins pull back like this while still in a bullish trend is not different. It is exactly what we saw back in 2016 and 2017. And I thought it was really interesting, and I just wanted you to see it. And let me say this. I do own some SIA coin. I'm not suggesting anybody go out and buy any SIA coin. I've held mine for 3+ years. So this is not something I'm running out there and accumulating and stacking up really hard right now. I don't know how active the project is. I've held mine for 3 years. I just wanted to use this chart as an example to demonstrate how volatile the cryptocurrency market is, even in massive bull runs, and that a lot of times we always hear this time is different. And the challenge is figuring out what is it actually doing that is the same? Because many times it is doing something that we have seen before, and it's doing it identically to what we've seen before. The problem is trying to identify what is it that it's doing. And so you hear all the time that TA doesn't work, technical analysis doesn't work, and I completely disagree with that. I think a lot of people try to change the indicators and put emphasis on different indicators and what matter and what conditions and what time perspectives and all these different things. When it just comes back to really just the simplicity of it. And while there's no way to know with certainty what is going to come next, we can all base our opinions based on things we've seen before and statistical likelihoods of how often we've seen it. And I can't think of any examples that I know of where we go on and have this a big hit at the top and we don't have a retrace. So I base all of my opinions on the idea that a retracement's going to come. That is not wizardry. That is not being from the future. That is simply because that's what usually happens. People, and if you don't know, people say that all the time. You're from the future, you're a wizard, and it's totally not true. I'm from the past. I use my time machine to go back and forth. But that we actually see these things play out over and over again in the same manner. So that's it. That's all I've got for you today. I wanted to run with that. I thought it was really interesting on that SIA coin chart. I think the next few days for the market will be a little bit challenging as we're wrapping this thing up. But overall, it's just a waiting game for this thing to get going on in that direction. But based on all the things we've seen, we should be getting there very soon. That's not magic. That's not from being from the future. That's just from saying what we've seen before. And hopefully, what we're seeing in the altcoin market is just something that we've seen before and that there's an exciting future ahead of us. And on that note, we'll wrap this thing up. This thing was pretty short. I should have said it at the beginning. I should have said that at the beginning. I always say that often. Hey, I'm going to keep this video pretty short, and it's not short. We'll keep this one short. I can say that now because I'm at the end. But all right, that's it. I'm going to wrap this thing up. Thank you so much for watching. If you're looking for something to do, of course, you could check out my website, bcbacker.com. This is a course I put together where I deep dive into the previous Bitcoin bull runs, the previous altcoin market cycles, tying them all together. I show how the cryptocurrency market has worked in the past. Structured a lot like my YouTube channel, me talking about charts and It's not PowerPoint presentations, structured very similar to my YouTube with me looking at charts. I talk about my exit plans in here. I teach you how to set up your own charts and your own indicators within TradingView and CoinTrader Pro. And the most recent, there's a lot of educational content in here, but the most recent market update was in there on December 31st. And you could check out all of this educational content over here on bcbacker.com. You can follow me over here on Twitter at bcbacker. And I want to thank you so much for watching my channel. If you could, please like this video and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you could be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.